I want to talk to you briefly about whether it is ever right to leave a church, and if so, when. But first of all, I'm going to read some words from a sermon by Joseph Philpott, which he preached on the text Exodus 33, verse 16. A separation, to be upon good grounds, must be a separation for truth and conscience, and not merely for truth and conscience, but also for the power of the gospel. Truth and conscience are indeed a good ground of separation if a church walk disorderly, or if it slight and despise either of the ordinances of the gospel. But to make the ground thoroughly firm and sure, and satisfy the soul completely, we must have something more spiritual and experimental even than that. The power and presence of God must have left the place before we can comfortably leave it. And this conclusion will not be hastily come to in a tender conscience. The fault will be again and again charged upon self before it is laid anywhere else. But when, after repeated trials, and after continual crying to the Lord, that he would bless the word to our souls, and when, after going again and again, we find that no power or unction rests upon the ministry, but that all is barrenness and death, that will be a sufficient ground for separation from any ministry whatever. I have left a church for principles only 3 times in my life. Once was in 1967, when I felt not so much that it was me leaving the church, but that the church had so far removed itself from its foundations that it had left me. And I wasn't the only person who felt like that about that denomination. The next time was in 1990, and the time after that was more recently. This photograph was taken at the time I was coming, together with my wife, to that decision. Some words of our Lord are perhaps relevant to some situations where people feel they must reach that decision. This is what he said: "Truly, truly, I tell you, they will not follow, but they will flee." There is a website with a lot of recordings, video and audio and articles on a range of Christian topics. There you see it, visit it, and be blessed.